3.6. Yeah, I keep telling you it's an obvious point for price to touch 23.6. So it has obviously gotten there, and now it's at this resistance that was a previous support. Yeah, so this one here is also good to sell. Okay, I'll also put a pending order there. It is 115.853. 115.853. Oh, was it 115 or 155? 155. Okay, 155.931. 155.931. Okay. Oh, where did that go now? Okay, I'll delete it later. But anyway, that is okay, so you can just right click there, go to trading and put a sell stop. Yeah, that is much better. So okay, so this is it's also bearish. MACD is well below the zero, and we have every setup there. You know, the reversals are the most difficult places to trade. These reversals here, when you have a confirmed trend, then you can go in and collect some pips. But getting a reversal is something quite, it's quite challenging. And yeah, this is one of the best ways to get a reversal. If you get a picture perfect kind of a divergence, then you'll have a very good reversal on every chart that you will see it. Okay, this one here is the Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar. I remember what we were looking for here, some kind of divergence that didn't actually take place. And yeah, so the chart is just there moving sideways. It's there isn't much to look at there. Maybe can load in the pivot points for today and see how to trade this. So we have the MACD above there. Let me see the ADX. Okay, ADX is bullish, MACD is bullish. We have the RSI. It's not giving a real good signal there. Maybe the stochastic oscillator, maybe. Okay, it's safely above the. It's above 50. It's also giving you. It could turn around anytime. But for the chart itself, it's being resisted at that the resistance 1 of the daily pivot points. So there we can we can wait for price to break and maybe continue buying to resistance 2. So the pips in between, okay, to the medium resistance, they are about at 12 pips. Then to resistance 2, they are about about 20 pips, 20 pips, 20 safe pips to the resistance 2. Yeah, so we can we can wait for that, and we just wait for the price to break above there. Yeah, it looks like it's a bullish. The trend looks bullish, maybe. Yeah, so the divergence I was waiting for last week, it actually didn't happen. I thought we were going to have an oversold position there. Yeah, so we'd have an oversold position up here and another place above the oversold. So we'd have some good higher lows on the chart and some lower lows on the RSI, and would have a good boost moving upwards, but that did not happen. But right now we're looking at some kind of some upward movement, but we must still remain mindful. Let me move these indicators. Okay, we must remain mindful of the areas of support and resistance. So we have this high point where we have a support, which is a resistance now, and okay, it's actually a resistance. So there's another resistance. So as we go to the resistance 2, we need to break. Up to this, at least to this level here. It is the safest point. Yeah, so this one here has already shown some significance there. So many times you can draw an actual, you can draw an area like in trading view. You can have an area of support and resistance without having a very thin line like this. But sometimes, okay, not even sometimes, but many times, the thin lines give you a very good, resistance support, which is very, very perfect. Like this one here touched there, and then today, it just touched there. It was very, very accurate. So sometimes you can have an entire gap, an entire zone of resistance, and you can have another zone of support. But you can also have these thin lines there, which are more accurate, like these pivot points. You can see how accurate they are. You can see how price just touches that support level, then how it just breaks and opens at that resistance. So what looks easy for you is what you can go for, but it's also good to have this. It's good to have this kind of platform where you'll have these kind of accurate points, these very thin lines where price actually touches, and it gives you some good sense of accuracy. Yeah, so this one could be bullish if it fails to break above this resistance one. Maybe here I can start buying above this this resistance. I know if price breaks above this one here and then continues up, I'm very much going to get I'm going to get some good trades, some good trade up there. So I will buy from this one up to this top. So I've put there the buy stop to continue buying when price triggers it. Move it a bit lower so that it is triggered earlier. Okay. Okay, now moving on to the New Zealand, the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar. Yeah, this one wasn't really picture perfect. We have this these higher lows and lower lows, and price went above. Not price, the MACD went above the zero into the bullish area, and yeah, so it's looking very unusual. Yeah, it's looking very, very unusual. Maybe you can look at these Fibonacci retracement levels. So yeah, so price has it has hit the 38.2 twice so far, and maybe you can just give it some time. If it breaks above this 38.2 again, we can keep on moving upwards. So we have a good reversal there, from this short bearish trend that was there. So there's a good upward trend there. Maybe you can start buying above the top there. Can put my pending order there. So yeah, so that can, if when it triggers it, maybe we can move to that. There are very few pips to the 50.0. It's a very short distance, about 11 pips, 61.8, about 30 pips. Maybe there we can get a good trade if it is triggered. The Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen. It's still stalling, no volatility yet. ADX is still not so good. MACD is showing bearish, but anyway, there's no volatility here yet. Can give it some time, and maybe we shall look at it tomorrow and see how far it will have moved. The Swiss franc versus the Japanese yen. Yeah, just like all the other charts with the Japanese, with the Japanese yen, there isn't much happening there. Okay, so this is the euro versus the Australian dollar. There's nothing predictable here. I'm not seeing any. Try to understand why I opened this chart. But anyway, nothing here looks very predictable. Maybe from this oversold position, moving upwards, not picture perfect. It's not picture perfect, but on the RSI it's not picture perfect, but then on the chart, then we have some good lows. So maybe this could be the reversal, a very unusual reversal. It's not very enticing, this one. But anyway, when the volatility kicks in, we could we could easily have there's something that is happening. something that's happening here. Okay, so if price, sometimes you don't get a picture perfect setup. You might get something like this. So we have two lows here. We have this low point, and we have another one. Assuming this one doesn't go any, assuming it doesn't go any lower than it has. So there we have some higher lows. Then on the RSI we have some lower lows. It's not really picture perfect. It's not very glamorous, but it could be a setup. Maybe with price, it could break. It could bounce off there and continue upwards, and could start having some good trend, some good formation there. Maybe there I'll put a buy stop there in case price breaks, in case some volatility happens. Then I could start buying upwards. Let me see how these Fibonacci's are. Okay, price is still below the 23.6. No, not from up here, it's supposed to be from that one there. Okay, so price is still below the 23.6. Yeah, so here, if price might stay inside here a bit sluggish for some time. Let's move on to the next chart. New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar was a good setup for a reversal. It hasn't yet happened, but you can be hopeful and wait. Some retracement levels there. Okay, so price bounced off the 23.6, and if it continues downwards you can sell. So I'll put another pending order there. So if these ones are triggered today, tomorrow we shall see how far they will have moved. This one looks good. This is the New Zealand dollar versus the Japanese. Okay, this was New Zealand Canada. This is New Zealand Japan. Okay, so this one here, some other Fibonacci's there. Perfect support at the 23.6, and I'll put my sell stop there and wait for this. Yeah, so that's the last chart. That's the last chart for today. And yeah, so these are some setups that require some patience. They require some patience, they require some time. You don't need to really be glued onto them for so long. These are in a 1 hour chart. So there is breathing space. When we go for the 5-minute charts, the 15-minute charts, many of those setups will actually play out during the course of the day. And you might not really, you might not wait too long to make a profit, but also you'll be taking a very small profit from those other small charts. So the big charts give you big profits, the small charts give you small profits, small but frequent, but the big charts you'll have a very few trades in a long period of time. So that is the difference between scalping and long-term trading. It's doing the same thing, but it's just the time difference that gives it different names, but it's the same thing. Yeah, so for the Telegram group, if you haven't joined it, it's Trading Dawn. Search for Trading Dawn on Telegram. The name of this program, get there. The group has now grown. It's now like an entire nation. It is really huge. Leaders who are trying to emerge. Certain things didn't go well. Certain things didn't go well. Some people came in with what seemed to be bad intentions, and things really didn't go well for them. So in a community, there are leaders who try to rise up, try to lead people and show them the way to do certain things. But it's also important to be well informed if you're going to take up a certain position of leadership in certain matters. So if you're joining the group, then you will have come in after a certain storm. Over the weekend, there was a lot of you'll find the good thing with Telegram, you can read the history. So you'll get there and you'll find what was a kind of a storm, which is not bad. It's good for communities to go through times of turbulence, so that we become wiser. We become more clever. You know, Africa is a very poor continent, and these countries are very poor, you know, despite being very rich. Yeah, you know, it's funny, you know, someone who is poor is someone who doesn't have money. Yeah, so if you have 50,000 acres of land, this land full of timber, food, and, you know, so many things, if you don't have money, you're still considered poor. You know, that is something very, very, it's something weird, it's something funny. But anyway, yeah, in this community, you know, when people, you know, it's just starting out, we're just starting out to trade. So when people come together like this, some others may come in to take advantage of those who are there. And when you find people who could be desperate, vulnerable, you know, they might easily give in to certain temptations. Secretly, they will give in to the temptations. When things go bad, they will come and report. And, you know, it's you know, the whole community should support anyone who goes through something like that. You need moral support, you need to be motivated and, you know, brought back to how things should be. Yeah, so after all that turbulence, I really doubt that, you know, someone else will come in and try to cause some, yeah, maybe the only problems I've seen there, some consistent problems are people saying, I do not trade with indicators, me. I don't trade with indicators. Yeah, not me, but, you know, someone on the group saying that, you know, if you trade with this, then you're a bad trader. You know, it's really bad. Yeah? Some people might say I only trade news because everything else is totally nonsense. But that is constant. Some people are aligned to a certain type of thinking, and they don't really take the whole the whole experience as a whole. They just, you know, they just subscribe to just part of it. But even if you do that, that is okay. But don't discourage other people from reading the news, from using indicators, from doing technical analysis. Now, if it doesn't work for you, then do not discourage someone else to do it. And don't tell them that it doesn't work, because, you know, these things have been there for quite a long time, and they actually work. But if they haven't worked for you, it doesn't mean that they won't work for someone else. So don't discourage anyone from obtaining any information. Let them study and get the best out of all the information that is out there. You know, that's why I put there the beginner's course, so that you know, if you learn everything from the basic, then, you know, you won't have these problems of you know, having that split kind of thinking between one thing and another. You know, you will have a firm foundation, and you will know the use of every component in the financial markets. And just like that, you'll make better decisions as you trade. You won't tell people, don't watch the news is fake. Don't watch the economic calendar, their reports are all fake. Don't, you know, those things. So if you use all the information that is available, then, you know, you're going to, you know, you'll have a better understanding of how things work in the markets, and you will make some good profits. So if you're not part of the group, just join it. It's Trading Dawn, the name of this program. Search for it on Telegram and you will get there, or search for BVB Trade FX and you'll get there as well. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.